So, I recorded an hour-long video showing off some tips and tricks, and none of the audio recorded, so we're doing it again! This is going to show off just kind of how to get your economy off the ground, and try to cover all the little gotchas that I see people running into, and complaints they have, and things like that. So, this is going to be long just because the game kind of forces it to be long, because it's not very fast, and I don't want to run too fast and miss things. But skip through if you're like, yeah, I know that, and I'll try to just cover things as I go. It doesn't matter which race you play, all of this should basically apply. I'm going to pick the Harkonnen though, because they have a little extra finesse required. Everyone's got their own little thing going on, but they're the easiest one for your economy just to spiral into nothing if you don't know what you're doing, or to go incredibly strong and then just blow up overnight. So I'm going to do them. It doesn't matter what counselors you pick. I'm going to do, I don't know, probably just these two because I like to. Default settings, not messing with anything, medium difficulty, normal stuff. I play on higher normally, but for the purposes of this, I want to show that this works just fine, and the same opening works at higher difficulties as well. You can get into more specific stuff like crazy drone rushes and whatnot later, but right now this is to get everyone off the ground. Of note, read these, because these bonuses are really important to how your faction works. So, we'll start the game. And the very first thing we're going to do is pause. I'm not going to be trying to play this like an RTS, and zoom out. When you zoom out, you not only notice where you are on the map, which I'm in the south, you'll always get your first spice field free, and you always want to send your first Thopter to your first spice field. Further, you're going to want to train military units. I like to start with just 2 basic melee guys rather than getting a gunner. That's all strategic stuff that'll matter more once you know more about the game. If right now, do this. You probably want a second Ornithopter as well. Again, there's going to be some interesting openings where you save that money, wait till they train, and go into 4 guys early or something. Don't worry about it, just grab a second Ornithopter. So, boom, we're done. Just get this off our face. So, right now, as you can see when we went into here, I only uncovered half the place. I do not care about this. I know that because this is a spice field, this will be like a drone or a siege up thing or Fremen tracks or something. I don't care. We don't want those early. Right now, the only thing we care about is where is the first spice village. And so we'll just head over. I also turn this on so I get some sort of bonus if it's auto-reconning. It can be a problem. I think if you're really into optimized micro, you might leave it off for a while, but whatever. I need to discover this because the very first thing I want to do is get this as soon as possible. That is always going to be your opening, is how quickly can you get this. Now, you might be able to take it with 1 unit instead of 2, you might be able to do different things, but it doesn't matter, you will always want your first spice place. At least in any normal scenario. If you found a scenario where you don't, great, you're already better than me. So, the moment I get that, I don't care about this, so I'm going to go start exploring around here because we're looking for our second village. So, you can tell where the village is because it's always got rock under it. I don't want to reveal this village yet because I want to know what's here. If that's just a crashed drone, I don't want this place. It costs authority that I can't afford to spend to take this place. So instead, I need to figure out, is this a useful resource? So if it's, ideally it's minerals, it could be batteries, or it could be Solari. Solari is good, but not this early because you can't build the building for it. And then the other thing to quickly note is, what's the win? Win 4, that's fine. 3 kind of sucks, 4 is good enough, 6 is ideal. I had a perfect start in the game that lost the audio, but whatever. Okay, so this is an abandoned Fremen camp. I don't care about this. We're going to care about it later. I definitely do not want to waste authority and water on this. So we're going to go over here. And what are you? Okay, that's what I want. I don't want the rock place first. And again, zoom out to see what is the shape. This kind of sucks because if this is my second take, I have to hike all the way over there, which is not ideal. Something you'll see people do is they'll move their units all the way onto the thing and then trigger the fight. I don't actually bother to do that with Harkonnen because 1, it doesn't matter, and 2, actually as they take damage, their units get better. He's up to 23 attack, whereas the one that's not hurt or hurt less is sitting at 18. So you'll actually clear the camp faster if they're hurt. I paused because my Thopter finished. So I'm going to turn auto recon on this one, and I'm going to send him out. So I know I'm taking this spice field. I'm going to send him kind of this way. He's going to be my future planner for right now. I kind of want him to find the second spot. Actually, I'm going to help him. Yeah, okay, so again, water cellar caravan, that's actually huge. We'll talk about that in a bit. These are super, 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 super good, maybe game-breakingly so in my opinion. What I'm going to do is I'm going to explore this, but also because I'm by the border, I'm going to quickly dip into the place next door. Just be like, oh, what's over here? and see its shape. Okay, so it's partly like that. That's good to know. And then we'll go over here, quickly glance this. Okay, so it's still worth looking. If this had just been the rocks, I would have ditched it, but it could be minerals or something. So we're over here. Are we paused? We're paused. Cool. So our guys are going. We'll fast forward a bit. I'm going to try and make this one faster than my last one, but we'll see how it goes. All right, we won our fight. We take the place. So this guy is going to immediately hike back. Oh, by the way, the minute you win a fight, notice that their supplies start going up. You don't need to take the place. You don't need to raid it. You don't need to pillage it. You don't need to do anything. Their supplies will always replenish. So if you just wait a moment, they'll get their supplies up, and then they can hike back to wherever they need to go to heal. I'm hiking this guy back because he's obviously really damaged, and this one's fine. So he can stay here and take the village, and he can start the long trek back to go get healed. Ah, Solari. Okay, so this is an acceptable second expand. This is the ideal. So I will probably go up there and get that. So this is not a bad start. It's not nearly as ideal as my other one, where actually my spice field was in range of Carthage, so it would actually help. That can be really important as, who are we? Harkonnen, due to rebellions and whatnot, but we'll get to that later. I'm not building any new guys, because I don't care. You don't actually, especially as Harkonnen, you don't want to waste the manpower early, and you don't want to waste the water. I'm sure PvP, better players and whatnot, there's going to be interesting strats, but we don't care. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to fill this out with militia. I can do 4 because I am one of the counselors I picked, but you'll want to do it early because Harkonnen bases work at 90% efficiency, but they gain 5% per militia. So this is 100%, 105, 110. And since this is my spice place, I need it to be good. And I'm not going to be oppressing anytime soon, because right now I'm still going to be building my spice harvester. So we need to get that up. Obviously, very first thing you build. I like putting it as close as possible. I'm not sure it actually matters, but it makes me feel better. And I need to start hiking these guys up here. So I want you over there so you still heal, because that's quite a hike. This is not an ideal start, or at least a speedy start. He's about to go auto recon this, and that's fine, because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this, and then I'm not going to have enough authority to take this. So what I'm going to want is to know that where this is, so I can raid it and bully it, because why wouldn't you? Whenever your guys kill stuff, you get hegemony, and whenever they kill stuff, they get experience, which makes them better. You gain like 1 attack and I think 20 health per level or something. So you definitely want to keep bullying and fighting and whatnot. So you have to keep your guys doing that. Ooh, wow. Oh, wow, that's a lot of Solari. Talk about that in a moment. So you always want to know like what your plan is. So step 1, get your spice. Step 2, get a non-spice place. This is wind strength 3. Shoot. I wish this was 4, 5, or 6. It would be nicer, but I'm going to build my wind trap here so I can continue expanding. And then I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to take... Actually, what am I going to take? Do I take this next? Ooh, I don't know. I might take this next. It's going to be close. Because this is a unique place that gives hegemony. In fact, yeah, I'm going to take this. 500 hegemony is a huge boost, and it makes the processing plant better. So, I'll take this first because I have minerals. Oh, and I already screwed up. Once you take your first village, you can research or around them. So, I'm not going to talk a lot about this. Again, I'm sure there's fancy strategies where you do something different, but in I think 90% of cases, you have to go local dialect studies first. It's just better than everything else you could get here. You do increase tech cost per tech you research, so maybe there's something where you take intelligence network, even though you can't use it, so you can get like spying master really quickly or something weird, but as of right now, you're almost always going to do that, and then because I have 2 Solari places next to me, I've got one over here and one over here, both of these can build the processing plant. Well, I'm going to want that tech, so then I'm going to queue these up. So I just clicked on that, there's my first 3 techs. I don't have to worry about it. And you should, do that as soon as possible, not like I did. I'm going to put this down here because it's what I'm going to wind up doing anyways. I'll talk about that once it happens. Okay, he's close enough. Off through the Great Desert, go fight. In fact, I'm going to have kind of a weird start because of this, because it vastly jackknifes your authority, which in the early game is crazy. So I might be able to take all of this really, really fast, and I won't need to bully Carthaval quite as early as I normally would. That's definitely going to be, again, some sort of like drone or Fremen camp. I don't care. I don't want to be wasting Thopter time on that right now. In fact, this guy's about to go do that. So he's going to go over here, and he's going to go over here. And they'll usually just research the place they land in. They won't like go back to go this. They'll first do where they're at. Okay, so that's deep desert. I definitely don't care, and now I know I don't care about any of this. I want to check up there because it'll be a border. And then this guy's gonna go check that. We're on the fight. That's nice. We literally don't care. They can just run their face into this, and it'll work. I'll focus one guy down just to make it a little more efficient. More deep desert, we know that. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I'm not. I'm just panicking. So, we've got a brief moment. I'll speed things up. You can hold shift to speed things up, or you can like right click up here or left click to slow it down. You can even go to like slower speeds, but we don't want to do that. We just want to kill these guys. Nope. Again, I'm not going to go for the village first. I care what these are more. Whether or not these are useful depends on whether or not I'm going to look at that village. I will eventually, but, you know. And then, again, there's something to be said for maybe, depending on if you're like smugglers or Fremen, scouting farther out now and trying to find enemy factions for various reasons, but we don't care at the moment. Actually, even as smugglers, I wouldn't recommend that. You really want to expand early and fast, because eventually you're going to run into other factions, and then your authority in your water is going to be more cramped, and that's when you can slow down and figure out what you're doing. So once again, I won. We're going to take it the moment we can. In the meantime, I'm going to wait. Again, it's quite a trek back. If I run him back right now, he risks a chance of dying due to supply drain, but the moment I can, I'll move him back, and he'll be fine. So we deploy our harvester, because it just got built, and then the very next building you always build is Plascrete. You're going to put one of these in pretty much every city. If you have an empty slot, put in a Plascrete factory. The reason being that it doesn't hurt, and you can sell it, and then it's just net gain, because it only costs Plascrete to build. So you're going to slap those down just about everywhere, and as Harkonnen, you really want to stack producing things on your spice places. Brief talk about airports. A lot of people like to put airports everywhere. I really don't. I think your main base covers kind of like all your adjacent villages. Like, it maybe doesn't cover this guy quite as well, so I might put an airport there. But, you know, you want like airports to have a little space. So I'd probably actually ideally put an airport here. And then that way I'm covering kind of all of this with 2 airports rather than spending a lot of manpower, money, and Plascrete on a bunch of different airports. So, the moment this touches down, this is the Harkonnen thing and why I wanted to play Harkonnen. And you need to walk back so you start healing. I'm going to start oppressing it. Because as you can see right now, I'm not making any spice. So we'll wait. Again, we're waiting for 54 on that. There's an argument that maybe I should have pillaged in between. I might have been able to get the pillage out and then get over here and win the fight and then just be perfect timing. Not sure though. I wouldn't risk it. So as you can see now, we're generating spice. This button right here is super important. It's the spice report. It says, hey, you're not going to make your taxes. If I change this, it changes in real time. Like, oh, cool, I'm making my taxes. You want to always just barely make your taxes, and you might notice that I'm not. But being the Harkonnen, that's because I'm being too nice. So we're going to go and oppress them. So now if we look, hey, we're overshooting. I'm actually going to leave it at 80-20 right now because I don't need a ton of Solari yet. Actually, yeah, I do. Never mind, I lied. So yeah, I'm making 109 Solari right at the start because that's basically 3 spice fields right now. Don't drop a crew in as the Harkonnen early. It's not worth the manpower. You need it for oppression more, and you need it for militia more. So you're generally going to just be sitting there oppressing. My goal right now, though, is to see if I can get up to the 500 I need to get the propaganda for this, and then I am basically golden. So we will take that. Just as the authority ticks over, we're researching. Check your stuff. Like, make sure you don't have anything idling or not doing what it should. It's very easy to miss that. This is always annoying because it does it every game. You don't actually have to click confirm on these. They'll go away eventually. I'm just doing it because it bothers me. And as you can see, my stuff is now just racing upwards because I have Plascrete here. I'm getting more Plascrete. Because I'm getting more Plascrete, it's now very easy for me to be like, well, this will finish, and I'll probably put a Plascrete factory here, which is only like 30-something. So screw it. I will go ahead and put a recruitment office here the moment I can afford it. And you want to make sure you always have enough money to oppress this initial thing. And we'll talk about why and what's going on there in just a bit. So you come back. We're getting ready to take this and then this. This is going to be kind of a crazy start. For the record, if I did not have this right here, what I would do now, what I may still do now, is pillage this, because that's what you should be doing, is having your armies fight. If you're a Trades, you can't pillage unless you find like a Fremen or a Smuggler or a Harkonnen player. So that's why it's kind of important as a Trades to maybe like build outwards and try to get near one of them so you can pillage their villages and keep your army fighting, because it gets you hegemony, which is very important, and it gets you experience, which is very important, and it screws up other players, which is very important. Also, oh yeah, money and other resources. So keep fighting. Don't let your army idle too much. I'm okay with him just kind of sitting there, but I'm going to move there. Ooh, this is going to be close. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I want to we'll see how it goes. So right here, with Harkonnen, you're always going to want a recruitment office in any spice place, and you're probably going to want them in most of your other cities as well. Because manpower is oppression, and oppression is how you make just bonkers economy. So we'll let that tick up. Over here, I should have immediately, the moment this finished, I need to get my Plascrete going. So how much does it cost to oppress this place, and where am I at? Okay, so the oppression just ran out. This is perfect. As you can see, my money is now slowed down, and I'm now taking a minus 5% penalty to these things, and I have a 2% chance to rebel each day. This stacks. Every time an oppression cooldown runs out, you get another stack of this. Further, this does not cool down while oppression is running. So eventually this gets up to like 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and you're looking at like a 10% chance a day to get a rebellion. This is why you need to be very careful with oppression. My general rule is always be oppressing your spice places, or maybe as you get like 2 or 3 or 4 and they're like really spread out, kind of rotate them so they never get like above 2 of these. But try to keep them oppressed so your economy's moving. And then with non-spice places, once you're in the mid-game or off the ground, I like to oppress them whenever they don't have the debuff. So like I wouldn't oppress this right now because there's no point. It literally does nothing. But I would probably in like 10 minutes. You'll hopefully see. So let's bring him over here. I'm not making as much money. So again, I'm going to re-trigger the oppression right away. Get that moving. Spend that manpower. And now I need that Plascrete. So that needs to get going. And I also need... How many guys do I need there? I'm not sure. That's kind of interesting. I'm trying to decide how many militia to build, because I need the manpower to be enough that I can oppress this when it comes off cooldown, but I definitely need militia here, so I'll probably do 2 militia or 5 manpower each. I definitely don't care about the Solari cost. Actually, I do in this case. I should have waited until I bought this, but hey, that's optimizing. We don't care about that. So normally... Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to raid. Let me explain why. I am gearing up to take this and this, but the problem is I don't have the water for it. Villages take 5 water each. I don't have it. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to go beat this up. That's why I can't do it, even though I got the cool start. Yeah. This is a 3 wind. This is a 4 wind. I will probably just build the water here because it's more important to keep this with production structures like manpower. As you can see now, my manpower is really flying. This is also why I don't like building more units at the beginning with Harkonnen, because you can take villages with 2 units, maybe even 1. I need to test more of that. And you need that manpower. It just does so much. Okay, your first agent. In, I would say, 99.9% of scenarios, they're going to go here because you need the authority production, and you also will then be able to use him to get the points of interest you found. So I've only found Fremen camps, which are like my least favorite by far. Oh, no, I also found this guy, but there's no way the Solari is worth it. You will almost always want the authority. So because he produced 20% more intel, I would maybe consider actually throwing him on here and getting my intel production up and some fancy thing. But since this is a beginner video, he's going to go on Arrakis. So now our intel generation is up, because our authority, is up, because authority is always good to have. And while they fight... We're good. Are you oppressed? Yes, you are. You can usually tell if things are oppressed because your economy basically goes in the tank when it's not. Also, you can tell because these will get like a red outline around them. It's a debuff that's affecting them. You'll notice I'm not microing my guys anymore. I probably should be. I actually made a small mistake in the last one where I didn't. In fact, I need to check what's down here because this is adjacent to my starting area, and there could be another spice field or something over here. So I need to make sure I'm doing that rather than just letting them go out here. Likewise, this guy needs to finish up what he's doing. Oh, did I lose that? Do I have to start over? No, good. Okay. And then go down here. Is there nothing over? No, there is one here. Yeah. Keep an eye on that. Like, you'll forget that there's places here, and then it'll turn out like this is going to be something, and then there's like a spice field right here that the enemy can't get to because there's this giant desert blocking them. It's really important to keep an eye on that and not just let your harvester or your thopters go wherever the heck they want. So go explore that. Are you right at the edge? You're at the edge. Okay. Because spice, you always want to be. Oh, so as you can see, there's the red I was talking about. That means these aren't producing as much as they should because they're under a debuff. But that's okay. We can just scream at them and they'll get better. And the cool thing about this is they're right there. So if there's a rebellion, I'm already ready. Rebellions tick over usually when this finishes. I think. I'm not sure on that, so I know there's probably not going to be one right now. But boom, I've got 500 Solari, and I'm about to get more. So let's buy this. Boom. Tons of authority. That's really, really good in the early game. You don't normally, or you can't guarantee that. So I wouldn't think too hard on that, and that's why I'm not doing weird, crazy stuff this game. Alright, this finished its Plascrete factory. Very next building is almost always going to be a wind trap. You need that water so you can keep expanding. You don't need to put them adjacent like that or anything. I just kind of misclicked. Alright, I've got enough. This just started an oppression cycle. I'm going to make more guys. I definitely think I have enough money and oppression to finish getting the guys here to keep the, to make it a little bit more efficient. Again, it's all about your economy. Keep your economy nice and happy and you don't have to worry about things. So, while that wind trap is building, we're going to go take this fight because the moment it's done, we're going to want to take that place. Yeah, what are you finding? There's a lot to do in this. Sorry, I keep moving the screen around and I don't want to be too ridiculous. Let's go a little faster. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. Don't care. Like, you can literally, even on harder difficulties, you can pretty much let them fight. If you have ranged units, worms can be a problem. Just move them onto here. Watch up here. If you see like the worm thing, pause the game, click it, move your guy. You'll see it happen, I'm sure, in this game. Alright, so that's a battery spot. That's kind of good. What's up here? Because what's up here is actually going to determine whether or not I really care about this. It is nice to know there's batteries there, but that's kind of the weakest of the starting things. I should have known that was deep desert. But this is... Oh, the Fremen. Wow, they're coming from that angle. So that's not spice, is it? That'd be crazy. We'll find out in a moment. This would actually be horrible for me, just to talk about it. In a real game, because the Fremen can like basically worm across this and attack my spice place the moment I'm like not there, and this would just be brutal. I would be so screwed. So that's PvP and not dealing with the AI and whatnot. So need to know, but not important at the moment. So I've got a bunch of Plascrete. That's what I should be doing. So once again, punish them. I should always be spending my Plascrete. Like, I've got 400, it's 300 to expand this, and then we wait a moment, and now what we're going to probably do is a research hub, which is at 128. Come on, take over, there it is. Because that will now jumpstart my tech. It's a very powerful thing to just kind of, like, daisy chain all this. Ah, cool. Oh, I literally talked about it and then didn't do it. I have an agent sitting on this thing. I'm kind of glad I didn't put it on him, on one of these, because it'll take 4 minutes and I'll just be better in detecting sieges. I don't think those are super useful as they currently are. They're worth doing, but maybe even early. I guess maybe it's worth getting these early if you're going to get them, but I really prefer these tech ones. Because, again, I like jump-starting my tech as far as I can, and it's really just free tech for you. So I'm curious what that's going to turn out to be. We'll find out. So they're fighting the fight. You'll notice I'm just about to get all the water. My guy finished, so he's going to go back. Raid detected. It's coming in. I don't know where. I think my guys will win. That's weird. Just one dude. Cool with one dude. Oh, he's going that way. He's a dead man. Okay. So I don't even need to worry about that because I've got, 4 freaking dudes. All right. Again, I've got Plascrete. This is already building, so I should spend my Plascrete. In almost every Harkonnen place, you're going to put manpower. You don't need to do this as other people, but with them you will. Okay, my rules on trade in the early game are if they want Solari, or if they want anything but Plascrete, I'm basically happy. I won't give them manpower. I don't think you can. But basically, if they're asking for Plascrete, I won't give it to them. If they're giving me Plascrete, I'll usually accept it. I don't care about my influence this early. It literally doesn't matter yet. And I probably won't care too much about the first resolution. I can survive, you know? So we'll run this for a second. There we go. We want manpower, because manpower is how you keep the oppression going and how you build your, militia, which is super, super important. So now I've got that. This place is oppressed. You're maxed out. I'm not going to oppress. Once this finishes that, I'll probably oppress it once, because I want the manpower boost. And once you've got a manpower building in there, it's kind of like free oppression. It usually makes more than it costs. Okay, no, that's just one of those. I really wanted to know what that was. So yeah, my militia will handily take care of him. And now we've got this place. So we will build a processing plant. Oh wow, we literally don't have the tech yet. Okay, because I don't have the tech yet, I'm going to build a Plascrete factory, because that would be the next thing I would build. It's always good to have more Plascrete. And I'm looking at my manpower and trying to determine, okay, I'm about to have to spend 35. I'll wait for it to tick out. And I'm probably going to move my army back over this way, because this is going to rebel soon. I am almost positive of it. So press them again. Move my army back. This is around when I'll build a third unit, so we'll get a gunner. You do want to have gunners. I just don't think they're worth it early. And I'll explain why later. So I got that. Next up is this guy, which again I can just afford. So they're going to heal up, be over here. I'm kind of really hoping this rebels soon, because I want to quell the rebellion and get it off my tracker, so to speak, like my things I have to worry about. But actually, if I get lucky here, I can time this just right and kind of slide in this annexation. So let's go for it. It was a really good start, because I got that authority pop. Combat ongoing. Yep, okay. Go ahead and win the fight. Oh, and they're within Carthage, so this is awesome. Yeah, I love when places are within the range of your starting place, because you take them very quickly, and as Harkonnen, you can be a little more aggressive oppressing them, because you will almost always... It's easier to win the fight against the rebels, because Carthage will help. I really want to know what that is. Yeah, I've just been letting him do whatever. I kind of don't care. Oh, that's minerals. After the first one, you don't care as much, because like at this point, my oppression economy is making me a gazillion Plascrete a second, so I don't really care. Like I'll go for it, but I'm really more looking for like mainly spice. Okay, so I finished my research. I got my basic stuff. From here, you can kind of branch out and figure out what you want to do. Advanced engineering is pretty good. For Harkonnen, defense systems is pretty good, because it's a cheap extra militia. You could go border defense. I don't think it's generally worth it unless you really think you want both of those. In this game, in this case, this basically solves your Plascrete and just jumpstarts your economy. So I usually like to do this next. I think this is where you can start like really doing your strategy and branching out. But I'm going to again show kind of an easier, simple, straightforward build. Okay, we take that. We're going to be right on the edge of water, but that's fine. What are we doing over here? Don't care. Oh, one of my guys is hurt, so he goes back. And the other one stays. And then this way I have two people ready. Should this place rebel, I can immediately go quell the rebellion. Which, really? Wow. I normally get one around 3 or 4. That's about statistically when it makes sense. I'm sure some stats fiend can figure out what 2, 4, 6, 8% is. Okay, so it's just minerals, which means yeah, I really don't care much about this. That they can take that, and I'll deal with this later. This is actually I kind of care about this now actually as a buffer, and I will need batteries eventually. Generally, you need batteries depending on your strategy, but mostly just for the next spice field. And I am annoyed I haven't found my next spice field. It's probably somewhere up here. It has to be somewhere up here. I have a new agent. Again, almost always Arrakis. That authority gain in the early game is just so important. You can't, you can do other things, but I really think this is the most important one, because you might be tempted to do like Chom, because like, oh, +5 Solari, and I'm having trouble with money. Trust me, the authority turns into more money than the +5 ever will. So let's go ahead and continue playing. My money's negative, which means I'm not oppressing. I made my tax payment. Yep, okay, cool, that's good. So we oppress. Check our spice. Are we going to make our taxes? As of right now, yes. That's never super accurate. It's never accurate for the Harkonnen, because you're going to have rebellions, and you're like it matters whether or not you're oppressing or not. so you have to keep an eye on it more than others, but it's really, really good. So, you have not, okay, I didn't put people here, and I didn't put people there. I just oppressed you. Okay. I'm trying to figure out my manpower math so that I don't accidentally wind up not doing anything. What I want to do is wait until I hit 30 manpower and then oppress here, so I get even more manpower, and then spend that extra manpower to boost these 2 cities. So right now, this one gets a processing plant, and this one gets a processing plant, and I'm already at 1.6k hegemony, which is great. I'm going to hit that 2k hegemony pretty quick. My last game I played for an hour, and I still hadn't hit it, which was annoying. So actually, where do I want to go from here? Would I want minerals? I probably want this battery field or this one. Defensively speaking, I want this one so I can put an airport, so I'll go do that. I don't want Quartivar. I do not want to waste the authority that it would cost and the water that it would cost to take this place. It's just not worth it. It's strategically useless. It's adjacent to my base, so it's going to be really easy to fly back and forth and fight them. It's not worth it. I'm going to want this, so I'm not going to apply corruption to it. We don't care about any of those. I may not get it, but don't care. It's not a huge thing when you're starting out. Okay, so, right, I want to oppress this. The 2 being oppressed means that I'll almost certainly have enough manpower for this one because I'm only halfway through, and it's probably going to rebel shortly. So I can go over here, and I can get you, 1 guy, then 2 guys, and I can get at least 2 at the beginning to help in raids. Oh, this popped up, I clicked it, I'm going to resolve it, and then pause, and immediately decide what else do I want. Oh, this one also is military development. Cool, want that. So they're all hiking over there, which is good. Expanding in the direction of your spice field as Harkonnen early is usually kind of what you want to try to do if the map lets you, because there's going to be a rebellion there because you're going to be oppressing the heck out of them. So it's nice that I get to do that, but you don't always get to. This one also just gets Ba and Ba. Yeah, they're all the same. I was just curious if any were expensive. I'm kind of waiting right now just because I want their supplies to go up. Careful about cutting corners through deep deserts. It will tank your supplies so much faster than you expect it to, and you can literally lose units because of that. So it's a little annoying because you can't shift queue commands like a standard RTS, and they literally can't go anywhere else. But yeah, I'm going to just barely cut in here, and it should be fine. But yeah, always keep an eye on that. I have lost entire armies because they decide to cut, just from here to here, and then they all die. So what else do we have? Tech, as you can see, my economy is great. My authority is absurd because of that. Oh, God. Okay, you normally don't get 2 water cellar caravans this early, but you can see that since I've been taking care of my economy, it's also not a big deal for me to deal with them. I can buy this right away, almost. I'm literally right there. I'm not going to buy it yet because I don't need the authority, but I'll be able to pop it whenever I want. In fact, the next goal I'm thinking about is my hegemony is about to hit 2k. I would really like to have the 1.5k Solari and the 500 Plascrete ready to go so I can just immediately start work on one of those buildings because they're all very good bonuses. Right now I'm going to check to make sure I'm building everywhere. I wish there was a screen where you could just see all your buildings kind of 4X style, like Civ or Endless Legend or something, because keeping your buildings producing is really, really important. And because of that, I'm going to go with this guy. I've got Plascrete, I've got water, I've got a recruitment office. Next up, let's see. Is he a good candidate for a maintenance center? That's something that's very, very important. I'm probably going to be expanding to the right, so this guy's probably getting the maintenance center, so I don't need to build that. It's really good, though. I could just plop a fuel cell factory there. I don't care, though. It's in the early game, so we'll go ahead and do a research hub, because I might be oppressing this occasionally, and more research is really powerful. As with any of these games, if you can just out-tech your opponent, it really doesn't matter. If you've got, similar numbers of units. I'm a little bit short, but as you can see, this one's going to help get me there. That's why I didn't want to overbuild. Oop, there. Okay, so this is important. You're going to want to get over there as fast as you can. But I'm in the middle of a fight, and I'm low on supply. So I'm going to want to win the fight, and then I'm going to send 2 of the units after I win the fight to go deal with this fight. this is where you can easily mess up a Harkonnen game and just wind up in this death spiral or whatnot. Oh, good, and I've got a sandstorm. I think it's heading... Yeah, it's not going to bother me. So we'll just, as you can see, I'm not mining spice, so now I've got to, like, redo my tax and whatnot. But I'm sitting on, like, 400 Solari. I'm not worried I'm about to, like, go negative. So I won the fight, where you take the village, and then these two guys... Well, we're gonna wait just a moment because there's a lot of desert. I hate waiting, but if I mess this up, it's even worse. A lot of stuff just happened. Okay, so I paused. A lot of construction complete. Don't care. That I probably care about. I'll deal with in a moment. That I definitely care about. So what's the wind here? 4. Oh, and I'm in negative water too because of all this. Yeah, that's annoying. So the first thing we'll do is a plascrete factory. We always want plascrete. I maybe should have done a manpower instead, but because I have that plascrete factory coming up, I feel pretty comfortable just doing this and then going, oh, well, then you can do your recruitment office. Cool. An active harvester, resource deficit, and yeah, okay. I just always use these. They're really useful to make sure that you don't miss something. And be frequent with your pauses, at least as you're learning. As you get better, you don't have to do it as much. I'm way overdoing it because I don't want to screw up. So, go over here. If this gets to the top, you are seriously screwed. It destroys everything in here, so you really need to be ready to do something about it. That's why I'll probably put an airport here, so that I can fly guys either to Carthage or to here, whichever I think is closer, and I can also defend from the Fremen on my left. Oh my god, the third one! I'm going to be swimming in authority. So yeah, in this game I would probably move these guys off of Arrakis, or I'd leave one in Arrakis, because Poison the Reserves and Gear Sabotage are very good, and what is it? Combat drugs is important for Harkonnen, and then I really love crowd manipulation. It's very, very powerful, but, nonetheless, I don't need the authority as badly as I normally do. I would not be normally expanding this fast. I would have spent more time raiding Karthaval and seeing, maybe raiding Daltar or something out here, just because, I have downtime while I wait for my authority to tick up. But, as you get better at it, you learn more. I'm going to move them into the city, because once they're in the city, they're actually contesting this timer. It's just like, any other Capture the Flag or King of the Hill game you've played. Harkonnen note, if these guys are in melee, it's actually not awful. I'm going to get him out, just so I can show some stuff off. But basically, you want to get your dude to load health. So he does AoE damage, hurting these guys and your guy, which is good, because it ups his damage. And then if he gets to really low health, these are actually really good tanks. They have 400 health and 4 armor. He has 400 health and 3 armor, so he's actually just as good in melee. And he does 15 damage. He loses more damage in melee, I think. What's the deal? Yeah, he doesn't do much damage, but he's a good tank. So once you get his damage up, he can actually serve as a frontline unit. Oh, got this. Free tech. And if you go and look, you can see which ones have gotten tech, because you'll see it's got this little partial tech thing. And I've done it here too. So because I got this one, I'm going to finish up Advanced Engineering and then grab Defense Systems. And I can get Advanced Engineering pretty early in the game because I'm oppressing places that have research. So this has the oppression debuff. I'm not going to risk throwing another because I'm down here fighting this. I don't want this stacking up and being split across my empire. This is only 2 buildings. When the third finishes, I'll start oppressing it. This is only 2 buildings. When the third finishes, I'll start oppressing it. Very, very simple. So you need to get over here. Oh, I need to build here. My manpower problem is an issue right now. What are you? Your batteries? I don't think I'm going to build the batteries right away, so I'm going to build a plascrete factory. Again, always good to have. Keeping your plascrete flowing makes it so it's super easy to just keep building these buildings. I really think there should probably be a scaling plascrete cost. It's you build more, new ones cost more. Not just a cost on the expansion of the slots, but I don't know, maybe they're happy with this, but it seems kind of no-duh to just do that. Yeah, so they're suffering from unrest. A lot of people talk about in the late game, oh no, I'm getting all these rebellions, and I'm not Harkonnen. So first of all, if you are Harkonnen and you're oppressing constantly, that's why. That debuff will stack, and eventually it'll get to where every place is on 2 to 10% of a chance, and when 5 places are 2 to 10%, well, a couple of them are going to go. If it's not that, make sure you don't have something like this under. If you are negative in one of these, that can eventually cause unrest and cause a village to rebel, which is really, really bad. Most often, though, it's because you're getting destroyed by crowd manipulation from the AI. So just throw some guys in counterintelligence, and it'll help cut down on that. I'm pretty sure that's a majority of what people are running into. Land Strat Council, I want this. So theoretically, as Harkonnen, I'm supposed to know the influence flow of everyone else, or maybe it's only if I take Peter. I don't remember. Can I check? I can check, right? Always knows the influence flows of other factions, but I don't know how to see that. Like, he's got 33 influence. I guess I have to like click on them. I think you normally get to see this. 173 influence, 98. I don't know if this is bugged, but I swear it used to show up here. Like, you could see like, oh, he's got this much influence, and then do your votes accordingly. As it is, I basically just want this, and I'm willing to throw everything at it because I don't care about the rest of this. Lower influence production doesn't bother me. I'd actually like it because it'll affect the Atreides, and lower unit power is whatever. I'm doing fine. We're not actively fighting. I am closer to fighting than I would be. Like, if this were a player game, I'd definitely be building more units and whatnot. But again, I'm trying to show off like just how you can learn the game as a beginner, and really, get your economy going. Because I know a lot of people are like complaining that they're losing on medium and they're having a hard time, and I think that's just because people aren't doing proper expansions in the early game and aren't doing proper economies. If I were, for example, smugglers, I would have tried to scout the enemy, because at this point, when your authority starts getting sparse and places are expensive, putting hidden bases in places is really useful. If I were Fremen, I'd probably be attacking people. I haven't played Fremen too much. And Atreides, I don't know too much about Atreides yet, but again, this basic start usually does what you need. So, exploit a spice field, get a chome. Well, normally by now I would have found a spice field. That's the other thing, is as any other faction, I'd be really beelining my thopters, like, where is my spice? Why can't I find spice? Because you need to find spice, because your economy is dependent on, oh, I hate you, dude. Why are you out here? Fuck, fine, finish it. I hate the deep desert ones, because, like, it's not like we're going to be grabbing it anytime soon, except I can use an Arrakis guy to do that. In fact, I should, because I don't have him on anything. I probably shouldn't grab that one because it's unlikely anyone else would steal it from me. But there you are. Oh, I forgot to redeploy this. So we'll deploy him. And you'll have noticed that while they were revolting, this has been ticking down. So this is where you kind of get your cooldown on your daisy chain depressions. And so I don't bother triggering the oppression until this is actually harvesting, because that's the majority of what you care about, is am I making spice? You'll also notice that right now I'm mostly okay. Why am I still negative in water? How did that happen? What am I missing? Oh, no? Well, whatever. This is wind strength 4. So I messed something up. Do you have a wind? No? I'm not sure what I'd... Oh, no? Oh, I took this plate? No? I have no idea. Those of you who are watching might know and be like, oh, you missed this. So either way, I definitely need water ASAP. So this is going to build water, because it's wind strength 4 versus wind strength 2, and it's only 100 to expand. I'll have enough to do it shortly. So, once again, wait for the harvester to touch down. That'll fix my economy. And boom, we're already going up. And now we are... I'm going to wait for this dust to tick off, because I might as well be at 2% instead of 4% chance. And then boom, we're going. So now our money's back in the bag. We've got our army. I'm going to go pillage Kalapatar, because I don't know what else to do right now with them. Yes, I know I have unrest, so this place needs to build a wind trap. And that'll fix that. I've got not a ton of manpower. Can I press you again? No, I can't. I don't want to risk it. I'm trying to get these maxed out on manpower, but I kind of don't care. Construction complete. Right. I have a plascrete factory here. I will want batteries. So we'll just wait for that. And again, it's very, very quick. Oh, and I'm almost at 2k hegemony, because I've been finding things. Like, this is what happens when you keep moving around, keep doing stuff. I could easily get more authority and take even more places. Gosh, I am not finding any spice. Am I crazy? Where's my other dude? I think I hate that they do the city first. I'm gonna just let them auto do it. But it is what it is. You also notice that as Harkonnen, you care a little less about these. These let you get more spice. Sometime around like the 3rd tax payment, you're going to want to start getting those techs so you can make the tax payments. Otherwise, the game kind of runs away from you. Unless you've gotten a lot of spice fields, 3 at least. Harkonnen don't need them as much, because 1 spice field counts as 3 as long as you've got it oppressed, and as long as you're microing your units right and keeping things where you need them to be, you can kind of, again, keep the oppression going. So I'm sitting on 700 Solari. I'm about to tick over, so I'd really like to hit that 1500 and 500 for that. Let's check my spice. Am I going to make it? No, I'm not. Let's adjust. We're going to wait. No, we'll just make it. There we go. So I'm making a little less money, but it doesn't matter because I was, and again, that's like worst case scenario. Well, kind of best case, I was in the neighborhood, but I had a rebellion and I'm fine. So I'm at 1.1k. I'm waiting for that to tick over. I'm fixing my water problem, which was dumb of me. That could cause pretty major issues. I want to build my batteries. This is probably not even necessary. This is me just being like casual, and that I just don't want to worry about batteries. I want to make sure that when I do find a spice field that I can immediately build it. Wow, this is really... I feel like normally, like somewhere in here, I would have found a spice field. Because my only one is down here. I'm really surprised. That's not ideal, but I've got the 2 Solari places, so that kind of helps. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm paused. How am I on wind strength? It was funny, my last one, everything was 6. It's really unusual. So I noticed that the point of interest was investigated. I immediately did this. It'll access a random accessible development. You'll learn what those do. I'm just quickly checking because this one is, random accessible development. It's well within my territory, so I'm not worried about it being taken, so I'll take the one that's out there. And this just gives you something to do with all those as you guys do it. If you're microing your thopters and they're not actually looking at everything, you may not want to put as many guys into Arrakis, but my argument kind of is that you need the authority flow anyways, unless you get stupid lucky like I did and get 2 of these. So you might as well let your thopters occasionally research those, and even when you're like doing optimal micro, you're gonna sometimes pick, rather than the resource, the thopter crash or the Fremen camp or whatever. So it's the way that it is. Again, I'm kind of letting my army idle too much. Council results, blah, 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 blah. I didn't get it. Don't care. Something I hear people talking about is like they don't understand how the outcome was. If you hover over this, you can see the breakdown. So Smugglers put 181 in, and Independents put 5 in. I put 110 in and got 27 from the Independents, and so I was still short 50. I just could not get that. So that's kind of how you can see. But all of this passed. I'm fine with that. I'll be okay. On higher difficulties, that might be a bigger deal. I'm 90% positive at this point, wherever spice is going to be, it's going to be somewhere out here. So I think I'm going to take this place because I like it for an airport. Rebellion underway. Well, this is what happens when you don't fix your water problems. And did they rebel at the water place? Game, that's just mean. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to oppress the water place because it will generate more water and solve my water problem. I am now sitting at 16. I should not have spent that, but I do want to get my manpower up. I really should have saved it for being able to build this right away. So just a moment, we'll have our manpower up. There we go. Because this will build faster too while it's under oppression, so I'd like to make sure that I'm getting the max amount of benefit from this. It is what it is. That rebellion happened because I didn't solve my water problem fast enough. That is 100% what that was. How am I on manpower? Pretty good. Not awful. I should be building there eventually. What's going on? Raid detected. Oh, cool. Now, that sucks, but I can deal. I would deal with the rebellion first always. The raid's going to take a while. They have to fight your militia and whatnot. It's not worth losing an entire city versus a raid, and especially because he has to walk around all that. I'm fine. So yeah, I should be hitting. Oh yeah, I believe right after this combat, or both combats, I'll have it. So that's done. Do I want more? Guys, you're already oppressed. Can I oppress you again? No, I cannot. I need to wait until... So never, ever, ever build anything that costs manpower until you're oppressing your spice places again. It's really, really important. Because that's where you're stacking all your buildings, so you're keeping your economy great. And, spice field! Hooray! Okay. So, yeah, we're going to take Peltar into whatever that is. This is going to get an airport, because my nearest airport right now is here. That'll cover a huge portion of the map. It's really central, which is great. And it'll also help me protect the spice field. I can also then put a maintenance center in here, or... Actually, yeah, this needs a maintenance center. That's what I'm going to do next. I'll put a maintenance center here because it'll affect this spice field and this place. It might go here because there might be another spice field out here. And then eventually spice silos will go there as well, because you don't want to build them in your actual spice producing place. You want to build them adjacent so you don't waste, valuable building slots that could be giving you more things. Construction complete. So next up is manpower. We are Harkonnen. Boom. Keep the manpower flowing. Again, I'm not doing what I said I should because I want to build one of these. For this, I like Solar production, but I'm pretty comfortable as Harkonnen. Chome shares can be good if you're going for that kind of victory. Otherwise, military stuff is just good, and so this stuff. Of these, I like getting this ASAP, so I usually just shove it in one of these because I'm usually not going for the higher level things. Because the extra research is just a big deal, and as Harkonnen especially, I'm building a lot of research hubs. If you're not, because you're another race, all of these are good. Like, it just depends on what you want to focus. So that's more build specific. Yes, I know I have no more water. It's because they finally stopped getting oppressed. That's annoying. I should have just built more water. I would have saved myself so much headache. But as you can see, I've even made mistakes. But like the whole house of cards hasn't come tumbling down. I'm not like having a problem. And I know this isn't necessarily where some people get stuck, so I'm going to talk about the late game rather than show it. Again, I want the tech before I want any of these other things. And then we'll fix this. My water will go back. Oh, it's positive anyways. Cool. I have no idea what. Oh, there was a land strat resolution, wasn't there? And that's what it was. I think I'm an idiot. Oh well. So now we'll come on down over here and deal with this raid that they're losing. If you have even numbers, you basically lose raids without veteran guys. But I don't care right now because I want to get this up. So that's good. That's good. Again, I generally only oppress places if they have a recruitment office. This is just out, so we'll repress it again. Because, hey, I need... and I think this also was helping. Was I had crazy water there. Of note, like, you can get water and batteries to obscene levels with Harkonnen. So water trade and energy markets can be really, really good. Not always worth it, but, you know, worth knowing. Am I not researching, or am I researching very well? I'm researching very well. Okay. Sometimes, as Harkonnen at this point, I will literally be sitting on, like, too much manpower. Like, I'll be capping it out. I've been trying to balance the oppression. I will usually be a little more aggressive than I've been in this game. But I'll also prioritize these way earlier. I've been building more class creep than I usually do for them. But either way, I've got the money, so we'll go shove this in here. Get that started. Oh, worm. Get off. Go over here. A little bit of micro goes a long way. Like, this game is not an APM fest. It's not StarCraft. So just, you know, keep your eye on the ball, and you'll usually be pretty happy. Oh, I think it was because that was taken over, yeah. Okay, so now this definitely needs militia. I've got a ton of manpower going. I'm also going to oppress it because I'm at the point where, like, I just have so much stuff that I'm okay with it. I need you to leave combat. Come on. There we go. So boom, 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 boom. And then we'll do the same over here. We'll finish them off. And then that's pretty much my economy at this point is something I'm not really concerned about. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heal my guys up, start expanding this way, grab these two, and then figure out from there. I would probably in this game, is this the Desolation? Oh, I don't think I've ever seen this. I saw someone else find this, but I've never personally seen it in my game. But there's certain spots, like a crash ship and some other special things that can show up that don't always. So, neat. Yeah, that's horrifying. Don't go through there. So that's kind of cool, actually, that I've got like a natural defensive barrier. I could get these three, take the polar cap, something like that. Oh, my research, always keep an eye on your research. At this point, I like local hubs because it's more knowledge, and even though I don't get the plus 20% thing, that said, I usually don't go these. Energy markets with a Harkonnen especially can get bonkers. You can start going intelligence stuff. I'm probably going to go water seller contract just because it's kind of easy to get in a water trade, and that really solves your stuff, so we'll just let it do that. And I've also gotten some free research for it, so I'll take it. Paracompass is actually crazy good, especially because it leads to spectral imaging, and having an ornithopter follow your harvester around for increased rate is nuts. I just hate the micro on it because you can't just right click and let it go. So keep in mind that's actually probably really important, but I don't bother with it, so you know, be better than me. Oh, unassigned agent. This next one almost always goes Spacing Guild for me personally. Harkonnen love manpower, and supply drop is nuts. So that's one of the other ones that's competitive in the early game. Like, I probably would have put it in Spacing Guild instead of, because I got these ridiculous luck. I'm really waiting for that one guy to heal. What do you have? 3 militia? I think 2 can take 3 if you just micro it half decently, but I don't want to. So I'm not going to assume people are going to do that. I'd rather just show off what happens. So again, I'm pausing just to decide what point of interest I want to investigate. Let's do this guy. And Yeah, I think this went faster than my other game. I actually went longer than I did in my other game. I wanted to just kind of find my second spice in this one, which took forever. So we'll go take that. And that's pretty much the ball game. Like, I'm off the ground at this point. I don't have any concerns. If I were another faction, this would have been a really rough start. Having these two be my starting spice is pretty brutal. I don't know where the other spice is going to turn out to be. That could have been a problem. But in general, you always want to beeline the spice because that's how you make your tax payments and keep up. Oh, and I haven't been checking on that. Unfortunately, I'm not playing quite as smoothly as I would. So I can add a new guy. I would do that at this point because it makes it even more efficient. I would at this point I've got decent money, not great, but decent. So I'd probably do something like that. Check that I'm going to make it. Ooh, yeah, I really screwed that up. Oh well. Oh no, they're not oppressed. That's my bad. There we go. So yeah, look at that. Now I make it. In fact, I would just in cases like this, go really, really high. You don't want this to ever go negative, so I've got like 159 in the bank. That's fine. So I'm going to go really, really high and just make sure I get it ASAP, just in case a rebellion ticks over. And then the moment I get over the 320 something, I'll do it. So we're at the second vote. Again, I could do any of these. I'd probably, apply. Wow, this is a really crazy one. All of those are really good or really bad to be hit with. So I'd probably apply this and throw it at the Atreides or whoever I think is second. Probably the Atreides. And then vote for probably the Landstrat because I've got that crazy authority already. Maybe I'd take the authority anyways. I don't know. Just depends. Speaking to some factions, some other stuff that I don't want to play to. Winning the game. I've heard a lot of people are losing because of the governor resolution is passing. Let's go to Landstrat again, sorry. This governorship, which requires 4 sieges to be allied, 39 regions controlled across everyone, it's not just you. And then you personally, if you want to go for it, have to have 400 standing and allied with 2 of them. This takes forever. So if this is how you're losing, because the Atreides get this or something, you're playing too slow. At this point, I'm probably 30 minutes from starting to kill the Fremen, or I don't know, whoever's over here, smugglers or Atreides. The only thing you need to kill a faction is, let's see here, defense sabotage is very important, so you'll want 2 Arrakis. I have it. I'm about to get up to 2 Space and Guild and 1 Landstrat. You don't always need this, it just makes it a little bit easier, because it doesn't do as much damage to your units, but with supply drop being as crazy as it is, that's really, technically all you really need is supply drop, so the 1 in Space and Guild. And then you need gunners as Harkonnen. So for each race, it's usually the ranged unit. They have this 30% ranged attacks have 30% chance to destroy armor. You need 2 to 4 or more of these guys. You're going to want a bunch of troopers too, or whatever your high damage melee units are. I would not take vanguards because usually it's just you beating on the base, and they're basically weaker than troopers if nothing's died around them. But the gunners will strip the armor off. Bases have 20-some or more armor, and if you don't strip that off, that means your basic units are doing no damage, literally 0 damage, or I think it's a minimum of 1. So it takes forever to kill a base. If you bring 3 or 4 of these guys, they'll strip off the armor in just a few moments, maybe 30 seconds, and then you'll do vastly more damage with all of your basic troops. Harkonnens are, ironically, actually kind of bad at killing enemy bases, because all their units need to have things die for them to be stronger, so I think they're the slowest, but it's still a very viable way to win. In fact, I think it's the fastest in 90% of cases, because you'll defeat their army in the field with a supply drop and a poison the reserves or something, and then you'll go run over to their base, defense sabotage it, and just beat it to death. And that's it. That's the game. Just do that 2 more times, you win. And once you take out 1 faction, you take all their spice fields, and you're pretty much in a dominant position. You should win. That said, if you don't want to do that with your normal military, again, say you're the Harkonnen, what you can do is you can get a crazy economy, and you can tech for, economic lobbying. This makes it so you make even more money and you get mercenaries. Mercenaries cost 700 Solari, which in the late game is a lot, but not a ton if you're doing it right. And they train very, very fast. They only take 3 CP. So just to show you, I have 18 CP supply. This guy takes 3, this takes 4, this takes 6. So you can get 2 mercenaries for the cost of 1 house guard CP-wise. We don't care about money or anything else. and they're crazy strong. They have like 20 attack or something, and they get more powerful if things die around them, or maybe it's 18. I don't know. So an easy way to win when you're like Harkonnen and you have crappy troops is just tech for that, get your economy crazy, and go run people over. Smugglers can also do that because they don't need the tech. Smugglers print money if you set up their economy right. Again, just sort of what I've shown, plus some using some black markets and enemy bases. Which, for the record, to do that, I'm going to really quickly show it. You click on the base, and then right up here, there will be a button. You click that button, and then I usually build the statecraft buildings and the one that turns their production into Solari. Sometimes you might want to build the pillage thing or the military thing. That's going to be a judgment call. But if you do that in a lot of places, your money should be more than fine. The point being is mercenaries, when they get to 10k hegemony, so you kind of want a hegemony rush, they get that tech for free. So you don't even have to go down this, because again, they print money. They don't care about any of these techs. So you can be out over here on the tech tree, and then you get free upgraded mercenaries who you can then start buying and go kill everybody with. And their base units are pretty good too. So they're not as weak as or conditional as the Harkonnen military. Finally, there's assassination. I've literally never bothered because it takes so long. You need all of your agents. So if you're going to go assassination, think about getting spying, logistics, and countermeasures early. They give you more agent recruitment speed and more max agents, which you need those agents because you literally cannot get these conditions met unless you have those agents. And then as Harkonnen, you can chuck your agents into a blender basically at 10k to make things more likely to succeed. So Harkonnen are better at that than most. It's still very slow and it takes a while. Chome shares is actually, I think, the second most likely win condition after domination. What you can do is it gives you more hegemony, so you can get up to the 25,000 hegemony. There's a lot of techs that can get this to where you're getting like 650 per Chome share or even more. The one I showed you, there's a... There's something in here, or is it in my main base? I think it's one of these guys. Sorry, give me just a moment. Something somewhere gives Chome shares a massive, massive upgrade to where you get like 50% more or something for Chome shares. So you're getting like 650 per Chome share. And what you can do is just overclock your economy, and then as Harkonnen, for example, throw your guys into the spy blender and just buy 6,500 worth of hegemony in the end game. So you'll go from like 1950, which is pretty reasonable, to 25,000 and just win. Finally, Governor, if you're going to go Governor, I think what you have to do is early in the game, you need to be researching these increased siege detection, point of interest, and you need a good military, because you're going to be needing to ally the sieges, because the enemy will not. And if you're not allying sieges, I usually only end up allying maybe one a game, the enemy will not, so the Governor vote will never come up. So you don't really have to worry about it, but if you want to go for it for completionist or whatever, yeah, you're going to need to max your influence production. You're going to need a military that can go out and take the areas where the sieges are, because you need at least 2 under your side, and you'll probably need to take 4, which is, again, crazy. And then you need to wait for the Landstrand Council to pop up, and you'll probably grab these 2, which makes it a little easier. But in general, I think this needs a rework to be more aggressive. Like, these need to be easier to get, and this needs to be easier to do, because the timings you would expect from a decent player, like just, again, someone like me who's kind of average trying, Governor is just not even a threat. So yeah, I think that covers most of it. I'm sure I've forgotten some little thing that I've heard people complain about that I wanted to mention, but yeah. Oh, I don't know if I talked about it, but just in case, rebellion in the late game, your places shouldn't rebel. If they're rebelling and you don't have any issues like I do, and you're not Harkonnen oppressing everybody, throw spies into counterintelligence. It will stop them, because what they're doing is just hitting you with crowd manipulation over and over and over, and you should be using this too. It's bonkers. You can just start attacking an enemy at a front, and then crowd manipulation, there's spice way in the back, and you just win. It's nuts. So I hope that helps. I'm sorry this is just as long as the other one. Hopefully it's got audio this time. It did better, and good luck.